Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and today I'm going to do an unplanned project, and this is because Chuck Bomarito watched my other video and saw me having a little problem with the arbor press, and so he sent me a couple of different solutions to the problem. And you know, I liked both of them, but one I like better than the other because it doesn't require as much machine work. And it sort of goes along with my own idea, so I'm going to follow the second method. The first method was to make a socket to go on where the handle goes, and put a square in it for a wrench, like a ratchet wrench or a torque wrench or something to go. The other method was to cut a couple of teeth off of the little ram, and I'm going to make a variation on that and cut a little bit of stuff off, but I'm hopefully not going to cut the teeth off. Who knows what I'll do? After all, unlike some people might think, I'm not a machinist, so there's no telling what I'm going to do. I'm not an expert on guns, so there's no telling what I'm going to tell you. So we'll just have to see how this comes out. We'll turn the camera around and take a look at the situation and see what we can do. It's a lot smaller than it looks anyway. Alright, this is my Harbor Freight arbor press. It's not their big one, it's their small one. And quite frankly, I don't need a large arbor press. If it's a job bigger than this, I can always go to the hydraulic press and do it without a whole lot of effort. This guy is for the small, delicate jobs that they need to be pressed together, but they don't need to be compressed clean out of their life. Did you see that little thing come off the end? That's another little part for me to fix then. That wasn't too good, was it? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up this guy and see how much of this rod here that I can cut off back by the teeth. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. Oh, I was fixing to make a mistake that I often make in videos, one of them not properly explaining. I don't know what the heck this is, but it should have went in my it's a propane adapter, 1 pound propane adapter for grills. Well, whatever, we'll use it to demonstrate. Supposing that I've got something in here that I want to smash together, and this is perfect, you see, and I come out with the lever pointing straight up. Now I don't have it very much leverage there. It would be better if it was sticking out here toward me where I can push down. And so how are we going to make it do that? If you got a ratchet, you can just back the ratchet around and come down, which supports the idea of putting a socket on here for a ratchet. But I think that I've got a better way to do it. Then when I come down here to press something, the arm will be sticking out this way and I can just come down on it. Alright? That little demo worked great. That's what the problem is though. Trying to mash down on something with the arm sticking straight up. That's not a good position to start from. Alright, I'm going to take these guys off, and I almost started to, out of laziness, reach over there and get the nut rounder to use on it, but I recovered my sanity and got a socket. Sometimes it's easier to go get the nut rounder, but it's definitely not ever wiser, I don't think. So what we're going to do here, let me just take the cover off the front of this little booger. There's a spring in here that I don't want to lose. It keeps the thing, level. But once we've got it all off, we can then tell as to whether we really like what my idea or not. We'll find out if it can work. But I don't know how much metal is in the back end of this thing. I already dropped it. Here we go. Here's the little thing that rubs on there. I already dropped it. I knew it was there, but I forgot whether it would pop out quick or not. Get the rest of these out of here. Now you get him out of my way. I always like to use a socket to speed them out because it's easier on my fingers. Alright, so in here, this little guy rubs against there so that these bolts, these two tensioner bolts here, so they won't gouge a big hole in it. This spreads the force out. That's the purpose of that little guy. And we'll put him back in there when we go back together. Alright. Now then, this fellow will just pop right out. And what one method to propose was to cut off or grind off these two teeth. But I'm going to measure over about this far and see if I can just cut off about a tooth and a half worth. And when this guy comes all the way up, it'll still be alright even with a tooth and a half less metal down here. So for our next step is to go to the milling machine and put this little guy in the vise and get started gouging off a little metal. Chuck Bommarito is kind of like Santa Claus. He's always watching. He knows when you're naughty, knows when you're nice. So I make a mistake, I get an email. Of course, I never make mistakes, but I still get emails. Now then. That's in there. Let's run it down a little ways. I need to do like Wes Howe did on his channel the other day. He made some different oilers. He made some different oilers for his mill. I think it's for the mill. Pretty sure it was. Well, that didn't want to lay down there at all. I'm assuming that it's not machined incredibly straight, or I should say incredibly flat. So back it off and try a little wire behind it. See if that'll do me any good. Maybe I can lay it down flat now. Yeah, that's starting to work. I guess if I had some of Chuck's screwy balls to go in there, that would have done better. But I don't. Okay. Alright, one of the things I guess would probably help me would be to throw on a little bit of Dicum blue or red and mark about how far back and say a tooth and a half. So hang on. Alright, it turns out a tooth and a half is about 375 thousandths, which is about 9.5 millimeters, just in case you measure things in millimeters. So I'm going to just come along here and mark this. That's just an approximation. This doesn't have to be perfect because, well, we're not trying to machine fit something, if you know what I mean. So let's bring this over here and see if my end mill is too big for that spot. It's a 3/8 distance. I've got a 5/8 end mill. That would seem to indicate to me that I'm going to have to change the end mill. Either that or cut off a whole bunch more than I want to. And I don't want to do that, so I'll have to put you guys to sleep while I change out this end mill to a smaller version. Alright, now there's probably a lot of ways I could have done this besides the way I'm doing it. But heck, I'm doing it so I get to choose anyway. Let's remove a little bit of chips and let me take a look. That's pretty close. I'll move you guys over and let you take a look too. I may have just lost all my video. I don't know. I pushed some button on here and all of a sudden it said on the screen, task in process. Do not disconnect the power. So I didn't intend for there to be a task in process. But you can see the little groove there. I'm almost down to it. And I got a feeling that 3/8 of an inch will probably do the job. We can always bring it back and set it back in here again if it doesn't, right? Okay, back to what we were doing before I started messing up. Hope I didn't lose my video, but that sort of thing happens, you know, sometimes. Now then, we'll take it out, deburr it, and go check it. You guys just wait 1 second. Alright, now we're deburred, and to get this little fella back in there, I'll have to back these nuts up a little bit so he doesn't fall out, I'm pretty sure. And then I'll have to readjust them later. Get all the dirt and crud off of here. So that's what I'll do. I'll just readjust. See if I can loosen these nuts without. Yeah. Well, I can loosen that one. This one's I must have lost one because this doesn't look the same as that. We'll have to run this the other direction now, huh? Alright, another bolt. These bolts are awfully dirty. I don't think these Chinese factories actually clean anything up. In fact, look at that. That looks like it was stripped. That's no kidding. That bolt's not any good at all. It's stripped. I wonder which hole it was in. Might have been in that one because it seemed kind of reluctant to let me screw the bolt in. That's not good at all. Alright. Let me get it sort of back together anyway. And I'll try to find another bolt that's in better condition. That's disappointing as everything. Alright. Shove this guy in here. He's tight there. That guy going in. I shifted it into the wrong direction, didn't I? We can't use that bolt, stripped. Oh, let's see here. That's good enough to test it. Let's run it up here and see if it skips a tooth. Nope. No, it doesn't. It doesn't skip a tooth. The spacer's coming out. So I guess I'll have to give in and remove one tooth. Didn't want to, but I will. Alright, hang on. I'll get this off and I'll go find another bolt that's not ruined. Alright, so the guy who made room in there for the gear to turn removed two teeth, and I'm not going to get around having to remove at least one tooth, so I guess we might as well just get on with it. Well, Alright, another cleaning off and deburring, and we'll try it again. Alright, I'm not going to blame anybody in China for this messed up bolt, because I've had this apart and it could have been me. So, you know. Anyway, let's see if this will work. Look at that, huh? That's going to work. So, cutting out the equivalent of 2 teeth was what you had to do. So now I've got a replacement bolt, but it's just a little bit too tall. So I've got to cut that off and fix that up. So you guys take a little 1-second nap while I do that. Well, I decided to clean out the holes a little bit too, because they feel kind of crunchy when you're screwing a bolt in there. I guess in China they don't ever clean out the dirt and grime and whatever. They just bolt it into the product. I don't know. But that's the end of that one. It's the bottom of the hole. It sure makes things work better if things are clean. Look at all the crud that came out on the end of that tap. Alright. Enough griping and whining and stuff like that. Let's, I get a little drop of grease and put this little guy into the little cup there. What do you think of that? That'll stay? Oh, you didn't see it. Anyway, that'll stay. I stuck some grease on it, and that'll keep it in position for me until I get everything screwed together. Because I'm just as lazy as everybody else. I think that turned down even tighter. I don't want that. Alright, so it's coming on up to the top. It slips. And it's too tight here. Oh, I'm sorry. This thing falls out really easy. That's another problem. There. Alright, so when we get to the top, let's put this guy back in, and let's see. Alright, so if we were going to press down on him, we're in a wrong position to do it. Come up and come back down, and we're in a better position. Although I have to pull that out some like that. I think that's the answer to the question that nobody asked. All right, folks, we're probably going to go to a joke now, and y'all remember. My helper, he works for scraps, so y'all throw him a bone. Well, it seems like Bubba's got a rich cousin lives in the big city there, and so he went over to see him, and his cousin's showing him around. He says, "Bubba, this here house here, it cost me $5.5 million." Bubba said, "Wow, that's a pretty place you got there." And so they were going up the walkway, and this dog come running up, and his cousin Willie said, "Well, Bubba," he said, "you see that dog there?" He says, "That's a Wiener Schnitzel." Says he's worth $17,000. So there ain't but four of them in the world. Bubba says, "Wow, that's something, you know." So they go on into the house, out to the backyard, and he says, "You see that swimming pool out there, Bubba?" He said, "That thing cost me $70,000. Bubba said, "Well, that's a pretty pool, you know." And so they go back around to the garage, you know, and before they get there, Bubba stops. He's standing there looking at that dog again. So he goes, "Well, come on, Bubba, over here to the garage. He's going to show you my car." He says, "I got a Bugatti in there." He said, "That thing cost me $350,000. And Bubba said, "Wow." He said, "That there's a fancy car." The guy, his cousin, says, "Yeah." He says, "It'll do 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds." So they start heading back toward the house. Bubba stopped looking at the dog again. And so his cousin says, "Bubba, is there something that you want to say about that dog, or something bothering you about that dog?" Bubba says, "Oh," he says, "I was just amazed that a dog could save that much money." Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.